At around 4 a.m. on September 14, 2019, in Saudi Arabia's eastern province, a projectile hits the Abqaiq oil processing plant. Then another one follows. A dark industrial site begins to glow orange in the desert. A second facility is hit at Khurais, far away across the same oil system. This is how one night exposed the weak point in the world's energy supply. Abqaiq is not a normal oil facility. It is the place crude oil passes through before it becomes something the market can actually use. Raw crude comes in with gas, sulfur, water, and pressure. Abqaiq stabilizes it. It separates what should not travel in a pipeline. It makes crude safe enough to ship. The facility sits near the city of Abqaiq, roughly 60 kilometers southwest of the Dammam metropolitan area. From the outside, it looks like a grid of tanks, towers, pipe racks, roads, and security fences. From the inside, it is a machine for keeping the global economy moving. Khurais is different. It is one of Saudi Arabia's giant oil fields. It feeds the same national system. If Abqaiq is the throat, Khurais is one of the lungs. Both are part of Saudi Aramco, the state oil company that supplies a large share of the world's crude. Their names rarely appear on the front page. Most people never need to know where they are. That changes before sunrise. The first reports describe fires. Then the numbers arrive. Saudi Aramco says 5.7 million barrels per day of crude production has been suspended. That is about half of Saudi Arabia's output at the time. It is more than 5% of the world's daily oil supply. A single morning has removed more oil from the market than many countries produce. And the weapon was not a bomber. It was not a naval blockade. It was not an army crossing a border. It was a set of small flying machines and missiles moving low across the region, aimed at pipes, tanks, and processing equipment. The detail matters because Abqaiq was defended. Saudi Arabia had spent heavily on air defense. Its military had radar systems, fighter aircraft, and Patriot missile batteries. These were built for a different kind of danger. They were built to see large threats. They were built to stop aircraft and ballistic missiles. But the attack on Abqaiq and Khurais did not behave like that. Low-flying drones and cruise missiles do not announce themselves the same way. They can follow terrain. They can approach from unexpected angles. They can be cheap compared with the targets they are sent to damage. This is the asymmetry. A facility worth billions can be damaged by weapons that cost a fraction of the repair bill. A country can buy expensive defense systems and still miss the thing moving under the radar picture. The attacker does not need to win a war. It only needs to hit the right valve. Within hours, Yemen's Houthi movement claims responsibility. That answer seems simple at first. Saudi Arabia had been leading a military intervention in Yemen since 2015. The Houthis had fired missiles and drones at Saudi targets before. They had reason to present the strike as retaliation. But almost immediately the story becomes less simple. American officials say the evidence points toward Iran. Saudi officials later display wreckage and say the weapons were Iranian-made. France, Germany, and the United Kingdom eventually say there is no other plausible explanation. Iran denies involvement. The Houthis keep their claim. Then United Nations investigators review the attack. They do not confirm that the Houthis launched it from Yemen. So the question becomes not just who claimed it. The question is where the weapons came from, where they were launched, and how they crossed so much defended airspace. That uncertainty is part of the damage. Oil markets can price fire, they can price repair time, they can price reserve barrels. They cannot easily price an attacker who can appear from the dark and hit one of the most important processing plants on Earth. The market reacts first. When trading opens after the attack, oil prices surge. Brent crude records one of its largest one-day jumps in decades. Traders are not only buying the missing barrels, they are buying fear. They are buying the chance that another facility might be next. The strange part is how small the physical footprint is. Satellite images show selective damage, not a flattened industrial city. Tanks and processing units are hit in ways that look deliberate. The fires are serious, but the facility is not erased. This is not carpet bombing, this is industrial surgery. That makes the attack more alarming, not less. A crude stabilization plant is full of choke points. Not every pipe matters equally. Not every tank has the same value. If an attacker knows the layout, the attack can be smaller, it can be quieter, it can be harder to stop. The old model of energy security assumed the danger was big. It imagined a tanker war, a mine in the Strait of Hormuz, a missile launch seen by satellites, a regional war that everyone could watch building over days or weeks. Abqaiq shows another model. A state can wake up with half its output disabled before most of the world knows anything happened. For Saudi Arabia, the next move is speed. Aramco says emergency crews contained the fires. The company says no shipment to international customers is missed or canceled. It brings Khurais back quickly. Abqaiq begins producing again within days. Officials say full capacity will be restored by the end of September. That recovery becomes part of the message. Saudi Arabia needs to show the market that the system is resilient. Aramco is preparing for an enormous public listing. The company cannot look fragile. The kingdom cannot look unable to protect the asset beneath its economy. So the story shifts. At first it is about destruction, then it becomes about restoration. Engineers work through damaged metal, replacement equipment, temporary routing, inventories, and pressure. The goal is not only to fix the plant, it is to prove the plant can be fixed fast enough that the world does not panic. And in one sense, it works. The worst-case scenario does not last. The market calms. Saudi Arabia draws on inventories. Customers keep receiving crude. The world discovers that losing 5.7 million barrels per day does not instantly stop cars, airplanes, factories, or power stations. But that is not the same as safety. It only means there was enough slack, enough storage, and enough repair capacity this time. The deeper lesson is about visibility. Before Abqaiq, most people understood oil vulnerability through maps. They saw narrow seas and shipping lanes. They saw the Strait of Hormuz. They saw tankers. They saw border lines. After Abqaiq, the more important map was inside the facility. Which towers remove gas? Which tanks stabilize crude? Which pipes connect to which units? Which side faces north? Which air defenses are looking the wrong way? Which object, if struck, causes a number on a trader's screen to move in London, New York, Singapore, and Tokyo? Modern infrastructure concentrates value. A few sites do the work of entire economies. A few cables carry whole financial systems. A few ports handle entire supply chains. A few processors turn raw material into usable energy. That makes them efficient. It also makes them fragile. The Abqaiq attack did not need to destroy Saudi Arabia's oil industry. It only needed to interrupt confidence in it. For a few days, the question was not how much oil Saudi Arabia had underground. It was whether the machinery above ground could be trusted. That question still matters because the tools have only become more accessible. Small drones are easier to build. Guidance systems are cheaper. Commercial navigation is everywhere. Open-source satellite images can reveal details that once belonged only to governments. A target does not need to be secret to be vulnerable. Sometimes its importance is the invitation. There is another uncomfortable detail. The attack happened without producing a conventional war. The United States blamed Iran. Iran denied it. Saudi Arabia showed evidence. The Houthis claimed the strike. Diplomats issued statements. Markets moved, repairs began, and then the world stepped back from the edge. No one wanted the next step to be uncontrolled. That makes Abqaiq a strange kind of event. It was large enough to shake the global economy. It was precise enough to avoid mass casualties. It was ambiguous enough to complicate retaliation. It was successful enough to be studied. And the combination is dangerous because it creates a template. Not for one country, not for one group. For anyone watching how a small attack can create a global effect. The night of September 14th, 2019 did not end the oil system. It did not stop the Saudi state. It did not start the regional war many people feared. It did something quieter. It proved that the world's energy supply has visible joints. After the fires went out, the towers at Abqaiq still stood in the desert. The pipes were patched, the tanks were repaired, the numbers returned. But the lesson did not burn away with the smoke. Somewhere another facility is sitting under a quiet sky.